Hey, I'm CARBO brother, Daddy's home. I'm back. I don't look anything like I did before, but that's what an amazing, beautiful ex-wife will do to you. So we left off with the operator mount for the PMR-30. Let's go meet up with the boys. Let's take a quick look at it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's been a long time, I know. Hey, I'm CARBO brother, we're back. We're doing it for real again. A little crazy intro opener. Look, I got a haircut and everything. We left off, okay? So I got the divorce midway through, and this was the last thing. I was watching my old video, I don't even look the same. So what we did here, so the purpose, the intent behind the operator mount, and operator, well, I mean, it's a pistol. It's something that we can operate. You can operate with this. We just had to distinguish between the two. We got the optic mount and the operator mount. We don't get too fancy with the names. The nice thing with this is it does kind of have a bit of an operator history with it. So this was the ALG 6-second mount 15 years ago, before they were doing RMR slide cuts. That was how they were putting a red dot on top of a Glock. First adopted by the military, this kind of concept, and short-lived. But we definitely thought it was suitable for this platform in particular. You know, we've worked so hard to reduce all of those failure to feed malfunctions. You guys are with us all the way through on the stainless steel feed ramp, and that was tricky. This whole pistol has been tricky. It's a rifle cartridge in a pistol, one of a kind. There's very few out there like this. This is definitely the best selling 22 Magnum pistol, and rightfully so. It's very unique in the magazine capacity size. PMR-30 for 30 rounds of 22 Magnum, working with KEL-TEC. They were definitely supportive and adamant about us helping improve the platform. We did put this on pause. In the initial video, there was no plating on it. So the typical question is like, is it gonna be shiny? No. I'm glad you guys voiced your opinion right away, because there were like, I wanna say there were like 6 or 7 people immediately in the comments that were like, how am I gonna holster it, man? I was like, damn it, why didn't anybody think of that? This was kind of a cool compounding development. You know, we had already gone with this ALG 6-second mount design element, which is really good for this platform.
Hey, I'm CARBO Brotherhood. It's your boy Ken coming at you with another video today. As you just probably saw, you're gonna see our boys, you know, doing a little running and gunning, a little shooting and moving with our PMR, as well as our operator mount and our holster. So speaking of which, talking about that, we got our engineer today. This is Alvaro, one of our engineers. He actually worked on a lot of the PMR parts. He worked on a little bit of the holster, magazine, and those are things that we're gonna cover today. What is one of the challenges that you guys experienced and or hiccups that you had to iron out to get through with this here operator mount?
Okay, so as you guys know, there's available optic mounts that are slide mounted, right? What happens with the slide is very lightweight, and every single ounce counts here. So if you put a mount on the slide, you will have problems to cycle. You got failure to feed and possibly failures to extract. What we've done here is very sweet solution. We got 2 possibilities here. You can use your favorite optic, and you can use at the same time your iron sights. That means if in tense moments of that really matter, you can have both options to shoot at your target.
You know, I can say as a tech myself, I've had countless of PMRs come in the shop where customers like, hey, I put all your parts in it, but the thing's still no go, boom. And then come to find out, they had a red dot sitting on the back. The gun wouldn't cycle at all. So once you took it off, the gun would run flawlessly. And I think that's one of the main reasons we came to this frame-mounted operator, as he was saying, is to get rid of any drag or any added weight to the slide assembly. This particular one is running a Vortex Venom. The one I have right here is a Burris Fastfire 3. It will take the Burris Fastfire 2. The one I have holstered here is the Viper, Vortex Viper. We also went ahead and did a CARBO paddle holster, which is the one I'm wearing. And for any of you who are like, you know, hey man, I'm a big fat dude, Ken, I don't know if I can wear a holster. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm 350 pounds of raw love machine, okay? As you saw in the video of our guys shooting and moving and doing all that stuff, they have one that's a drop down. So you're gonna have the option of either one, whether it's the paddle or the one that drops down. The one that does drop down doesn't sit all the way on the thigh, but it does come with the thigh strap to set your attention to what's most comfortable for you.
Chris Nelson, President of CARBO. We're here at Reload Gun Range in Tarpon Springs. Love this place. This is the first time in my life ever, 8 years doing this, we finally have some celebrity treatment here. It's so epic. We're like out here in our own little private range. We can even do shooting and moving. I feel like James Reeves right now. We're gonna do some stuff with the new PMR-30 operator mount, okay? So we've got some things to address. I know there's gonna be questions immediately like, hey man, this thing's in like 3 pieces. How do I know that it's gonna actually hold together and be accurate and, hold zero and this and that? That pistol grip frame is also in multiple pieces, a lot of pieces. So we're bolted together, we're gonna use Loctite. Super important. If you're not using Loctite, you're already at a disadvantage. You're gonna have problems, guaranteed, out the gate. So you gotta use Loctite, blue or red. Just red, you won't be able to take it off very easily later. The sight sits a little bit higher over the bore than if it was mounted to the slide. So that's something we'll talk about at different distances and what your holdover might be. Also want to show you quickly how you're able to use both the red dot and how you're able to use the fixed sights, the fiber optic sights on the PMR-30, which is a must, why a lot of us bought it in the first place. Let's get on back there and shoot. We got our operator mount here, we've got a red dot. We're just kind of using a supported position. I literally picked up bird seed before I came here because we forgot a sand sock, but this works out, okay? So you can kind of MacGyver whatever you really need to do. If you can take out any of the human error element, that's great. That's the best idea. You don't always have to. This is a reflexive sight. So this is something that it's like CQB, all right? So you're just shooting and moving, you're running through urban environment or whatever you're doing, man. It's short ranges, right? It's in your house, whatever the hell you're doing. This is not a sniper weapon system whatsoever. Let's go ahead and do this, get it rocking, and I'm gonna show you how we can move between both sets of sights. This little bad boy too, we'll see how this little baby does while we're at it. This is gonna kind of suck for me. I'm not gonna guarantee any kind of sniper level accuracy at this point. Let's just alternate. We're gonna go red dot first. All right, so all there in the center, that's the red dot. And let's go fixed sights. So we'll go fixed sights to the right there. So you can see how you can see through. I guess I'm gonna do this through the camera. All right, I wanna see what this looks like. No guarantees. All right, so this is with the red dot initially. Guys, you're gonna get some stuff like this, and then with human air or whatever, man, it's no magnification, and you got 3 MOA or 6 MOA, no idea. All right, and then this was actually through the camera using the fixed sights. Different, that was an experience. Let me just do that one more time. Just kind of blast them around so you can see how the transition works. All through the camera, all through the camera. Let's go fixed sights real quick. Let's go red dot. Fixed sights, red dot, fixed sights, red dot, fixed sights. Allows you to alternate, so you got your primary and secondary always accessible, never have to change anything out. So Jacob's gonna take over, he's a range officer here previously. He's also done a lot of shooting competitions, and he's also got a couple cans in his socks. So that's how you know he's legit. If that doesn't tell you he's legit, I don't know what else does, okay? Always a little indicators to look for. Plus, he looks like Aquaman. He looks like an operator. This dude looks like a machine.
Hey, I'm CARBO Brotherhood. This is Jacob in customer service. If you ever called us, I'm probably the one who's picked up the phone and handled your call. Today, we're zeroing our PMR-30 optic mount. Okay, we're gonna talk about a couple things you need to take into consideration when using the new mount. It's gonna sit a little bit higher. Some of your zeroing might vary based on distance and the brand of optic you're using, and we'll get into it right now. First things first is we're gonna shoot a test group to see where we're at so we can make adjustments from there. Keep in mind, on this gun today, we're using a Burst Fastfire 2. With the Dr. Noblex footprint that we're using, it's available in a wide range of optics that use that footprint. Keep in mind, optics are gonna vary. You might use quarter-minute adjustments, half-minute adjustments, or full-minute adjustments. So how many turns it takes to get the point of impact where you desire is gonna vary on the optic brand. This one is the one we're using today. All right, so we're zeroing at 15 yards. Whatever distance you choose to zero at is completely up to you. We're doing 15 because that's a zero we're going with, and that's a good distance that we like for all around usage. Those two, obviously me, we're gonna go by this shot group here. We need to bring it just a touch to the right and maybe a smidgen up. Let's go with the windage first. We won't touch elevation on this adjustment, and then we'll go from there. One thing, obviously, be judicious. You know, make sure the gun's in a safe condition, safety on whenever you set it down. I like to unload my gun when I'm making adjustments and lock it open just in case, so we're being as safe as we possibly can. If you come down here at the optic, particularly on this fast fire right here, we have lockout turrets. You need to make sure those are backed off and not tightened down so you can make the proper adjustment. First, start off by unlocking these turrets here. All right. So the turrets are unlocked. We're gonna go a touch to the right. I'm gonna go about 4 to 5 clicks. All right. We're gonna lock them back down. Not gonna touch the elevation right now because that was just about right if we're aiming at that center zero on the target. Completely up to you. You can keep the optic turrets unlocked until your adjustment's done. I like to just lock them down just to remove any air from this optic as possible. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and confirm with another group. All right, might have taken that too far. We're too far over. All right, so that's a good, I guess, teachable moment. All right, not yanking them as much anymore, so that's a little bit better. Main groups right here, we got one flyer over here. I went 4 clicks this way, so what you're gonna do is, in this case, I'm gonna split the difference. I'm gonna go back to 2.5, 3 clicks. We'll go ahead and mark these up so we know where our point of impact is and we're not getting the holes mixed up. A couple things when you're zeroing the dot, guys, you want to keep that dot turned down as low as you possibly can. And that's going to decrease the size of the dot. If your dot's turned all the way up, it's going to be in its biggest and most brightest form. So it might make indexing on a very small point of aim a little bit more difficult. So that's a little tip. Keep that dot turned down as low as you can until so you can still see it. And then also when you're zeroing, using a smaller point of aim, I'm going with the 0 in the center of the A zone on this particular target here. Provides a pinpoint aiming reference so we can make our adjustments a little bit more accurate. All right, no camera jitters. We're just making the adjustments, so we're gonna go ahead and back off the turrets. All right. Just a hair. And then we're gonna come back to the left about half of the adjustment that I made before. And then we're gonna lock those turrets down. Elevation seems to be good. That might have just been me shooting a touch lower, all right? All right, and as you can see, gun's on safe. Didn't lock it open that time because we're trying to make a little bit more quick adjust. All right, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a little flyer over there. We're about centered up. It's time to get that elevation up. We're gonna go up, I'd say about 3-ish clicks, maybe 4 on the elevation. We'll paste up these and send it on back out. Making the adjustments again here, same thing. We're gonna unlock the turrets and then we're gonna bring it up. I'd say about 3 to 4 clicks. All right, let's go ahead and lock those back down. All right. All right, so we got one flyer. We could come up a little bit more. That's a 3-shot group. I'm gonna call that about good for what we're doing today. If you'd like, I'd say you maybe need to go 2 clicks up, but for right now, that's good for what we're doing. That 3-shot group there, got one flyer there, happens to the best of us.
All right, guys, let's do a little transition drill, do some mag changes, kind of run through something, just show you a little demo of the holster. Give me a shooter ready or something.
Shooter ready?
Oh.
Stand by, go.
Oh, baby, go. Woo. Oh, he's shooting. that gives you kind of a quick little slow. That's rusty, Daddy's rusty. But it gives you a general idea. You can see kind of the quick reactionary effect, what we're going for here. At one point, this target was flapping, all right? So I'm gonna start my excuse making right now, but you see the idea. This is all red dot. It's quick reactionary, you know, acquire the target, engage the target, acquire, engage, moving, shooting, kind of a whole fluid effect. It's not a stationary static effect. So this is the intended purpose. And this is where you get that advantage over your fixed iron sights. Because to acquire those fixed iron sights takes a lot of focus. With the red dot, it's quick, reactionary, bam, 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 bam. All right, that was my warm up. The holster is set up, ready to go with the operator mount. We've also got this in the prototype phase, so the spare mag holder. We looked out there on the market and there's not much for the PMR-30 in terms of, you know, some Kydex options to have a pistol belt tactical setup so you can do some quick transitions. So this is here. If you guys want it, just leave in the comments, let us know. All right, Jacob, give Daddy a little shooter ready magic.
Shooter ready, stand by, go.
Oh, fuck, God damn. God damn. Oh, mama. A tactical belt would be ideal. In the dump pouches, that's when that comes in handy. So you see me kind of finger, you know, my butthole over here. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to be dipping down. Where's my snack pack? Where's my snack pack? You don't want to be reaching. So this is when the dump pouches are handy. You know, you're offhand, you're dropping those mags, or you just throw them on the ground. But these little plastic babies, you know, you guys all know, delicate. All right, the metal mags, you get away with it. That's more to come. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect, how to zero it. It's pretty much the same as if you had it mounted to your slide. A little adjustment, it's, you know, slightly higher, but nothing to be scared of. 2023. Love you, I miss you. I'm back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's the time you've all been waiting for. It is the installation of the PMR-30 operator mount. So things that you're gonna need for this is, one, PMR-30, you're gonna need a set of safety glasses, a 2.5 millimeter wrench, the operator mount, which is gonna come with a whole slew of things. We're about to go over that. I recommend having a napkin or a rag on the side, some blue Loctite, and another good recommendation, but isn't needed, is a torque wrench. Now, some of you who have it, you know what it is. Once again, it's more of a recommendation, isn't required. So when you get it, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna be a little baggy, and then we're gonna come over here, we're gonna pop this baby open. And on the inside, you're gonna receive a little instruction manual, which is nice. So if you don't wanna sit here and walk through the video or anything like that, we do have an instruction manual. Inside this baggie, you're gonna get your left and right side of the mount, as well as the top plate, the 4 screws that mount your top plate to the actual left and right side. You're gonna get your 2 long screws here. As you can see, these long screws are gonna be for mounting the left and right side to your frame. You're gonna get these 2 longer torque screws. This is gonna be for your optic, mounting your optic to the plate. And then we're gonna have a Allen key, which is 2 millimeter, and a Torx key. Now this Torx is a T10, so if you're going to be using a torque wrench and you want to know what bit to put in there, it is the T10. All right, so once we have our firearm, we're getting ready to do the installation. You know, it's always a good thing to go ahead, clear the firearm, rag it back, check in here, make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Magazine wells, nice and clear, there's no ammo. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna take the 2.5 millimeter wrench, we're gonna remove the screw just above the trigger, right here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move this one. All right, so we're gonna spin that out. And she'll pop out. Now, a lot of the times, these self-locking nuts that are on the other side are kind of stuck in there. You can also take your Allen key and just give it a light press, and it'll pop out just like so. So, once you remove this one, go straight over, and the first one on your pick rail, come over here, and remove this one. Okay, set that aside. And once again, if the nut doesn't fall through, give it a little push, just like that. Now, I like to take these and just boop, and put them to the side for safekeeping. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bust out these here tools. One's the Allen key, which is 2 millimeter, and then our Torx, which is a 10, a T10. Open up the left and right side. And once you get this out, you can go ahead and take a look at it. It's pretty sturdy. These things are pretty well made. They are aluminum. You know, they are pretty thick. And when you feel it, you know, I had a couple customers looking beforehand. They were asking, hey, with these cuts in here, doesn't that make it flimsy? No, it's actually pretty stiff. You know, when you get the full thing put together like this right here, it's pretty solid. And you'll notice that as you take them out. Go ahead and remove our top plate out of here. Go ahead, take these screws. if you are using a torque wrench, I would still recommend using a little bit of the 242 blue Loctite. All right, I'll put a little dab on the table just because that's how I like to do things. Folks, if you follow my videos, you know I like to say there's more than one way to skin a cat. Easiest way to remember this, angle forward. So the right side angles forward. See that? Forward towards the barrel of the gun. Opposite side angles forward towards the front of the gun. They also, in the baggies, are labeled. So if you take them out of the baggies and you're like, I don't remember which one's which, they angle towards the front of the gun. So left is gonna go here, right's gonna go here. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is the left side is solid. So these nice thick posts are gonna fit into these holes, okay? And I just hold it on there with one finger. I'll set that there. We'll just lay that on a table, nice and easy. Let gravity do all the work. I'm gonna take one of these screws, kind of roll it around in there, get it nice and sopping up. I'm just gonna stick it in there. Get this other one, roll it around in that Loctite. Get that in going. Drop it in like that. Now, these screws are gonna use your 2mm one. You can go ahead and get that in there and just start screwing. Now, once you get it in there, you're just gonna wanna keep it from being super wobbly, so don't go wrenching this down or super tightening it, okay? Because we still got to add the top plate. It's on there, it's a little snug, I didn't wrench it down or anything. Now, if you look at this top plate, it's got 6 nipples that stick up, okay? They almost look like little speed bumps. Now, if you look at this top plate, it's got matching grooves that go downwards. If you notice, these ones that go horizontal instead of vertical, it's closer to one side, even here, closer to one side. So you can't put this backwards, okay? It won't let you. It'll only go one way and it'll boop, drop into place. All right, once you get that, you're gonna go ahead, that there, let's get these. If you're not a balancing wizard such as myself, you can also lay the gun down and then bust your screws out as needed. These are gonna use the torque. So you're gonna go ahead and take your little Torx bit, all right? Rub some on there, balance the gun. You know, you can also lightly put this in a vise, or if you have some help, some of you might want to get your kids involved or loved ones. That's pretty easy. And just do one at a time. Now that we got the first one done here, you come over here and you're just going to continue the process. Dip your screw in a little bit of that Loctite and just go ahead and put her in there, okay? And if you're like, yeah, what if I get a little bit on my finger? Well, remember that paper towel I mentioned earlier? You can keep a paper towel. I myself, while I'm working, like to keep some of these microfiber cloths that we have and that we sell. I like to keep those on hand. Those things are a wonder. You're just gonna lightly, boop, bam, just snug. Move on to the next screw. Once you get the next screw going, go ahead and put that in there. Get that thing going. All right, lightly snug. And if you have anything, wipe it off just like that. Move on to this one right here. This is the last one. All right, now if you notice, as I was installing these, I did this front one, then I did this here back left one, all right? So you're gonna wanna go caddy corner. Once you do the first 2 corners, you can't really do caddy corner from there. You can go top or to the right, doesn't matter. You can do this one first or this one, right? And once you get everything in line, just light snug, all right? Clean her up, see, she's nice and clean, boop. And all right, now we're gonna go and we're gonna finger tighten everything. Finger tighten, especially if you don't have a torque wrench, this is all you really need to do. Alrighty, just like that. Those of you who are gonna be using torque wrench, all right, this little tidbit's for you. All right, as I'm going through here, I'm actually gonna just use tools we have supplied. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna snug these down, all right, give them a little snug in, make sure everything's done. Oh, see, that one's a little loose, folks, that one right there, a little loose. All right, so once you get it on there, and it's finger tight, okay? You don't need to do too much. Then we're gonna use our torque wrench and we're gonna set it. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain how to set your torque wrench. The reason I say that is because, as you guys know, if you have a torque wrench, not all torque wrenches are created equal. Some are a little bigger, fatter, shorter. Some you can set by twisting down here on the bottom, or some might have a slip ring where you gotta pull down and then twist the head. It's all kinds of different out there, all right? For this particular model, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set it to 10, because I'm gonna do these sides. Now, these sides don't go past, per our instructions, 12 pounds. So I'm gonna set it at 10 personally. I'm gonna put it in there, and then we're gonna give this a little twist and see if we can get that to, oh, come on, she's still wanting to turn. All right, there she goes. There's that one. Now let's go to this next one. So you see how tight she is. Oh, there she went, and there was that one. So those are already nice and pretty close to 10 pounds. I'm gonna do the top, which the top is the one that's gonna use our Torx T10. And so I'm gonna set this one All right, we say don't go over 20. So me personally, I'm gonna set it just past 15. All right, so on here we got 15. It's just past, probably sitting at 16, 17. I'm gonna come through here and give them a little twisty poo. All right, there's that one. There's that one. Come on. There's that one. And see, I wrenched these hand tight and it's already there. If you don't have that torque wrench, like I said, little hand tight, little snug, you're gonna be already there. So that on top of the Loctite, and you're gonna be set. This baby's not gonna wanna move. I mean, that's pretty stout. I mean, I almost wanna use that. The optic I'm gonna be using today is a Vortex, one of my favorite. It's the Vortex Venom. This is a 3MOA, and it's quite a beautiful optic. You know, I actually like to run this on several of my firearms. So you guys are probably wondering, well, Ken, what kind of forward plate is this? What kind of optics is this gonna take? Well, the current forward plate for this here setup is the Dr. Noblex, which is extremely common. It's on a lot of them. If you would like us to make, you know, adapters so you could probably run like your RMR or anything else, you know, start sending some emails, maybe a little bit of comments over the video section. Who knows, we might make different little floor plans or adapters to go on there, or even do a Picatinny attachment. Who knows? Well, once you get your optic on here, just like that. Okay, oh, hold on, balancing act here. Let me put this down, open up this baggie. In our little instruction thing, we're not going to recommend a Torx specification for this. And the reason being is the optic manufacturer will usually have their own recommendation. What I like to do, come over here, get a little bit of Loctite, set that in there. Get a little bit of Loctite on this one, set that one in there. Just as before, I'm gonna use my key, okay? I'm gonna twist it down to one side a little bit and get this one. You don't wanna wrench it down yet. You wanna get them both sitting on there nice and even. This is an optic here. All right, once it's starting to feel snug, you can wrench one side a little bit. Now you don't want to gorilla strength this. Just use your fingers, do a little bit till it's nice. Finger strength now, snug. All right, before you take this to the range, I know you're gonna be excited. You're gonna put this together and be like, Ken, I want to put rounds down range. Well, since you just put Loctite on here, okay, I'm gonna recommend you let it sit overnight, well, you know, 24 hours. That way the Loctite hardens up on the inside and it'll keep things from moving. And I just let her sit there. Some of you are probably wondering, hey Ken, why is it angled forward? Why isn't it completely vertical? Well, one, style's everything, baby. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep things nice and fresh and pretty cool looking, and everything on here is already canted, so might as well keep that cant. But secondly, okay, if you notice here, all right, I'll lock this to the rear. If I was to come vertically straight up here, okay, I'd be real close to this back end. So if you have a wider or bigger optic that's gonna sit back here, and this is coming vertical, it's gonna be just above your ejection port. And what you don't want is when the slide is moving forward and it's kicking out those rounds, you don't want them smacking your optic constantly. So we figured if we offset it a little bit farther forward, instead of straight in the middle, you would eliminate any of the spent cases coming forward and smacking your optic, because these things do get a little pricey. Secondly, with it sitting forward, you're adding the weight to the fore end instead of the middle. And as we all know, most people bought this gun because it's got 30 rounds and a lot of you are trigger happy. So if you want to keep, you know, that quick target acquisition, you want to put a little bit of that weight in the front, especially if you're doing double or even 3-round taps on target. That'll help you, you know, keep things in a line. We put the Loctite on here, we gotta let it cure for 24 hours. So in the meantime, I'm gonna pass it on over to Vlad, one of our head engineers. Vlad also went through and spent quite some time designing the holster for this. We didn't want a regular holster that would just fit the gun. We wanted a holster to coincide and coexist with our operator mount. Vlad, take it away.
All right, thanks Ken for that breakdown and installation for the operator mount. But as we know, we needed a holster for the operator mount because it won't be holster compatible anymore. So we made these precision formed Kydex 80 thou holster. It is vacuum formed around a precision mold on an aluminum mold here. As you can see, this is one of our prototypes. So it is CNC cut with vet holes to get that really good suction and that really good profiling around, as you can see, around that optic mount, around the trigger guard for that retention. So there's your retention right here, and then the belt clip. And so that is vacuum formed around there. and then put onto a CNC and then cut around that profile to get you that holster. The holster right now is only compatible for right hand. We use a 1.5-inch belt system for the paddle holster, but the hole pattern is a 1.5-inch gap between it with a 1.5-inch third hole here in the middle. If you do want to throw your own belt clip, you can, but we went with the outside the waistband right now. And if we get enough lefties, yes, we can make a lefty version, but right now that is right there, that fit. Precision right around that operator mount. So we get a little bit of retention on the operator mount right here too, so keep that cant. So this thing is tight. As you saw our operators running around, actively shooting this, getting it out into action, this retention is just solid. The retention is adjustable here with these 3 screws. So if you do want a, looser fit, you can use that Phillips screwdriver, give it a couple turns counterclockwise to loosen it. So let me just show it a little bit looser here. And there's rubber spacers inside of there keeping that tension, so then you can get this tailored to exactly how you want to draw it. There's an undercut here for your finger right here to get that draw, so I can get right up in there to get that draw while unholstering. So now my hand placement is perfect for firing without having to adjust it after holstering. So you can see that undercut right there. I can get all the way under there into the trigger guard and draw. Part of the design for this holster, I was really aiming towards protecting your optic since it is more forward instead of the rear. Being an outside the waistband carry, it can protect your optic from all bumps. And you can see that Kydex is really staying strong and isn't gonna affect your optic or your glass and holds that really good zero. So just so you guys can see how much this actually protects your optic, we know you guys spent money on it, so drop it right on the optic. I'll do it again just in case you guys didn't see it. Not telling you to do that, but not a single scratch on the optic, just to show that really that holster really protects that optic from any bumps, drops, or potential scratches. Before we get this thrown onto the belt, I'm going to show briefly on how to adjust this adjustable cant, because this is actually at a 0 degree right now, but it can go to -30 and +30 based off where you want to put it on your waist. So using a Phillips screwdriver, I'm just going to quickly unscrew these. As you can see with the hole pattern here, we did drill a hole down here for the drop leg holster. Up top we have that 1.5-inch gap, so we can run that at 0 cant, line up the top hole with that bottom hole right there to get that positive cant, and then also you can do it to get that negative cant, line up those holes, and there's that -30. All right, so I'm going to be demonstrating a 0 cant because I'm going to be using the 4 o'clock position for my outside the waistband carry. So to install this back, I do the post. So see, there's no exposed threads, the threads are internal. Post goes in the inside. Then the rubber spacer, a little grommet holds it in place. So see there, now I can have my hands free. And I'm gonna do the other one before I screw it in. So once I have the post, then the rubber grommet, then I put the mount back on. Lightly thread the first one, and then once I get the second one on, then I'm actually going to tighten it down. So I don't want any movement, so I'm going to keep tightening this until that rubber grommet's really compressed. There you go, past snug there. Now it's not flexing or moving. Now that we got the paddle holster back on, we're going to be putting it onto our belt and looking at the different positions for outside the waistband carry. All right, so I do want to show the other option here that we have for the holster. We wanted to have a ready paddle holster for a 1.5-inch belt, but then also we want to offer an operator series where it is a drop leg offset with a leg strap that has a little bit of grip right here for that thigh, so it's not sliding all over the place, so it's really nice with the buckle. It comes with the nylon belt with a quick detach buckle here. So very convenient, really nice, and we're really going to be able to show it right here once we get up top. All right, so before we wanted to put it onto the belt, wanted to briefly cover why we went with the outside the waistband for the PMR-30 operator mount. As you can tell, it is much more bulkier, so getting that inside, it just wouldn't be as much comfort as compared to a paddle, and the paddle has much more bite, as you can see for the wide right here. You can carry 30 rounds on you, going for a walk, going for a hike, going for a jog, or at the range, you can run really quick drills, and you can still have it holstered, really taking advantage of that operator mount. As you saw, it is quick and easy to remove the paddle holster, get it up and out of the belt. I have a 1.5-inch belt on right now. This is actually the belt that comes on the operator package. But right now I'm at that 3 o'clock, the most common carry for the outside the waistband. So you can get it right here. And we're gonna cover later the offset, just how it helps your draw, because right now I'm pulling up. You see how high up my arm is. So if you want your arm a little lower, you know, a little more natural feeling. If you're used to the inside the waistband holsters, you know, this just does feel good, but if you're more used to that duty, you know, ex-police officers, military, you know, with a leg holster, that offset's really gonna give you that extra advantage and just that more natural draw. I'm gonna take this off, put it in the 4 o'clock also, another position that's common for the outside of the waistband. Right now I'm at the 0 degree cant, and 4 o'clock's a little further back, you know, maybe if not for a range, maybe if you're going for a jog and you kind of want it more tucked away behind you. For running drills, I prefer 3 o'clock, get it more quicker draw there instead of coming back a little bit more. Also, I could throw some cant on here, some negative cant to bring that a little more, that grip a little more forward and get that nice draw. The great thing about the holster is that the adjustability can't carry it wherever position you're most comfortable with. You know, it's not a one size fits all, so we understand that, and that's why we have that hole positions. And even if you wanted to swap your paddle or to something that you're familiar using, then you can swap it out with anything with a 1.5 inch configuration. All right, so now we have the offset drop leg operator holster attachment set up. 1.5 inch tactical belt. This all comes with it, nylon with the quick buckle. It is adjustable strap. It goes up to 48 inch waist. We have the offset holster, so it brings it down. As you can see, now my draw can be much more lower. I feel much more efficient, quicker, especially for the people that have been practicing in the military, law enforcement, much more used to, you know, drawing from that lower position there. Also, I have that thigh strap. As you can see, that elastic band is keeping it nice and tight, keeps that holster. See that retention? So it keeps it drawn close to my leg. As you can see, without it, let's show it quickly. Without it, see how it just pulls right up. So this is a critical piece here to keep that retention so that that draw can be quick, efficient, and I can run drills all day with this. As you guys know, this is a really fun range toy, even for the people, you know, walking around the property. So it's really nice, and I can get these rounds off much faster, really put this operator mount to use. So as you can see, that retention on that holster, I mean, I can move around. You saw the operators running around, cartwheels, jumping jacks, you name it, this thing is not going anywhere. This package just really ties it all together and really puts it to that purpose that, you know, we're trying to aim for in that operator package. Thanks for allowing me to show you guys what we put into the holster for this operator mount. We really wanted to cover all bases for you guys. Let's look into some of the future projects that we're working for you guys on the PMR platform to get this M series rolling.
Something we have here today, and something I've been playing with, is a metal magazine, Alvaro, and I know you've been the lead engineer on this. What problems did you find going through this, or, you know, what was it a challenge for you?
First, I want to thank customers. So this is actually a customer idea, and we've heard so many comments about you guys to make this thing work. It has been a challenge, but here is our most recent prototype. Is fully functional. Improvements of this magazine. We've heard about customers talking about lips that are wearing in plastic magazines. We've seen those lips flex. Steel magazine, what's good about it is rigid, it's durable. Anything you put in here is not gonna flex those lips. They're hardened steel. This is stainless, 410 stainless steel, very durable and also corrosion free. You won't get any corrosion while you're out and about here, especially in Florida, right? There's a lot of humidity. You're talking about a high quality metal.
And it's stamped steel, right? Stamped steel with a little bit of CNC laser engraving.
Exactly, this is something very special. It's actually we don't talk about that.
So you're saying it's going to be pricey, but it's going to be well worth it. It's going to be a long-lasting magazine, and you're not going to have that issue of the metal cartridges wearing out those feed lips. That's something I've also seen a lot of times. Customer will send in a firearm, I'll test their magazines, can't even get through a full mag, and then I'll test a brand new one, she'll shoot flawlessly.
Now this little guy's coming, but we need to know if you want it or not. We don't ever do pre-orders, but it's gonna be expensive. Doing a magazine run is expensive. The cost of a really nice Italian sports car to do even 5,000 of these babies. If you've never heard of us or what we've done, just look at the sub and look at the PMR. We really do focus on a platform and get all the way into it. We go overboard. Kind of like my driving. So more's coming, more's changing. We go metal and we got plastic, we have to change again, so don't get too excited. But how bad do you want to run a full mag? A full 30 round mag dump. That's what we all bought this for. I love that feeling, nothing better. So if you guys like this, you don't like it, let us know. We're back, we're finishing up the PMR, holster, operator mount. You guys want the holster. I'm really impressed with it.